Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're recording.
Yes, we are recording.
Just a second, gotta get my head in the game.
Hi guys, my name is Greg Drew.
I'm Kiki Powell.
Jessica Solano.
Martha Hearn. Emma Garcia.
Faith Ballou.
Jared Tyler.
Cindy Sturgis.
Teaching, you are changing lives.
I think it's important to be proud in your abilities as an educator.
I really can't imagine a more satisfying career where you can reach so many people and help them reach their goals.
The thing you want as a teacher, right, is you want your students engaged and you want them practically obsessed with your content. You want them to be able to teach what you have taught them, because that is the true marker of understanding the content. You can teach it. I've got this group of 8th graders and they've been a challenging bunch at times. And we started this school year with a lot of my returners and 1 or 2 new people. And I was so excited because one day these students started teaching the new student about some content we had learned last year. They had read a play together and it was not what you'd think kids would be into. It was a French 1700s play and they ate it up. They loved it. One student wants to know about it, and so they're retelling this information that they learned over a year ago to this new student with excitement, and they're taking turns and they're remembering details and they're talking about bigger ideas and how it connects to what we've learned in theater. And I'm sitting there basking in the glow of being the most perfect teacher to ever exist on the planet. And in that moment, one of my students, who has struggled in the past with blurting out and saying things he shouldn't, he says something so inappropriate. I can't not respond to how inappropriate it was, and it kills the vibe. It is over. The moment I have fallen from the mountaintop down into the valley of shame, nothing goes perfectly. And isn't that a lovely expectation to let go of?
When you are working with students who are falling behind academically, or even showing up to your class and they're already 2-3 years below grade level, the most important thing you have to do is to set the standard high for all of them. In 3rd grade, I was able to see that this student was coming in and he was below grade level, had special needs. Even his family was saying, listen, we know he takes a 3rd grade test this year. We know he's not going to pass it. Don't even put any pressure on him. Well, that kid got to get the same opportunities as everyone else in the class. I wasn't gonna let him down by saying, you know what, you got special needs or you're behind, so why don't you just do what you can handle for now, and then I'll never show you what real grade level looks like. Because he got the opportunity to do what other kids got to do, because he got to be a leader in our class and collaborate with his friends, he didn't only pass the end of the year statewide assessment, he got almost a perfect score. And that is the power of high expectations.
One of the things I loved most when I was teaching is watching my students learn to speak English. I taught kindergartners, and in one student in particular, let's call him Edward, he was new to the country and he didn't speak any English. And in the beginning of the year, he was going through that quiet phase where he was just observing and watching. And it's important not to force them to speak, of course, before they're ready. But I really loved watching him go through the different stages. He, at one point, was mimicking us and copying the sounds that he heard us saying. And one day on the playground, it had rained a bunch the night before, and so there was a big mud puddle at the bottom of the slide. And so I had to stand there for about 10 minutes shouting to the kids, no slide is closed today, because I didn't want them to get muddy. And so Edward on his own came over next to me and he took over the job without me asking, because he was copying me saying, no slide is closed today. And it was just a really sweet moment for him to copy me like that. And then finally in the spring, when he was ready to speak on his own and he started to speak to me in English sentences, I told him it was so special to hear him because I had already heard his voice, of course, but when he was speaking in a language I could understand, it was like I was really hearing his voice for the first time. So it was really special.
I had one student last year who came in at the beginning of the year and she was so uncomfortable reading and she was at a very low level and you could tell that her anxiety was very high. And so what we did was we would consistently read and work through a reading program together. And towards the end of the year, she came to me and was just telling me how excited she was that her dad even noticed the difference in her reading, and how now she will volunteer to read versus being kind of forced to as she was earlier in the program. And so just seeing how that consistency really paid off for her, and not only in the skill level, but just in her confidence. It was just so encouraging and exciting to see.
I had a friend who, he was a struggling reader. I made sure to find books that he liked, whether it be sports, whether it be about animals, complimented him, made him feel good. He was almost reminding me of like my own LeBron James. At the end of the year, before he came in, he was an ending kinder level, and I was able to get him at a beginning second grade level before he left my classroom. And the growth that he made was so tremendous because he would refuse to read. And now, by the end of the year, he would ask, "Can I read to the class?" I'm on fire. I know exactly what to do. I feel great. I feel like I can do anything. And just reminding that student that you can do hard things.